The origins of football. The history of football is rich and complex, stretching back thousands of years across various cultures and civilizations. Its origins can be traced to ancient games that involved kicking a ball, which varied significantly in rules and objectives. While the modern game of football is most closely associated with England, many ancient cultures contributed to its development. One of the earliest recorded forms of a ball game resembling football comes from China during the Han Dynasty 206 BC 220 AD. This game, known as Cuju, involved players using their feet to kick a leather ball filled with feathers through a hole in a silk cloth. Cuju was not only a popular pastime but also served as a form of military training, enhancing footwork and agility among soldiers. Historical texts describe the game as one of entertainment, played in festivals and court ceremonies, showcasing its significance in Chinese culture. Meanwhile, in ancient Greece, a game called episkairos was played, which combined elements of both football and rugby. Teams of varying sizes competed on a rectangular field, trying to get a ball over their opponent's boundary line. This game emphasized teamwork and strategy, laying groundwork for the development of ball games in Europe. The Romans also contributed to the evolution of football through a game called harpastum. Played on a rectangular field, it involved two teams trying to keep a small ball on their side. While more physically intense than modern football, harpastum included similar elements of ball control and passing. The Romans' extensive travels helped spread these games throughout their empire, influencing local variations in different regions. As time progressed, various forms of football began to emerge across Europe. In medieval England, a chaotic version of the game was played in towns and villages, often referred to as mob football. These matches could involve large numbers of players and often had little in the way of rules, leading to raucous and sometimes violent contests. The objective was typically to move the ball to a designated goal, which could be located miles apart, leading to tumultuous and disorderly play. The lack of standardized rules led to significant regional variations, prompting a growing demand for organization. By the 19th century, schools and universities in England began adopting their own rules for football, which highlighted the need for a unified structure to govern the sport. This desire for standardization was fueled by the increasing popularity of football as a recreational activity among the working class, who sought a form of organized play. In 1863, the Football Association (FA) was established in England, marking a pivotal moment in football history. This organization aimed to create a standardized set of rules for the game, known as the laws of the game. The FA's rules formalized aspects such as the size of the field, the number of players, and how the game should be played. This initiative distinguished association football from other forms of football, particularly rugby, which allowed for carrying the ball. The formation of the FA not only standardized the rules but also contributed to the establishment of clubs and leagues, leading to the structured competitions that would follow. As the sport gained popularity, the first international match took place in 1872 between Scotland and England, signaling the beginning of football's transformation into a globally recognized sport. In summary, the origins of football are rooted in various ancient games that involved kicking a ball, with significant contributions from cultures around the world. The evolution from chaotic local contests to the establishment of standardized rules in the 19th century laid the foundation for football to grow into the beloved global sport it is today. The formation of rules. As football's popularity surged in the 19th century, the need for a unified set of rules became increasingly evident. Various schools and clubs in England played their own versions of the game, leading to confusion and inconsistency. Each institution had its unique regulations, resulting in a patchwork of rules that made it difficult to organize matches between different teams. This fragmentation posed a challenge, particularly as more players sought to engage in the sport. In 1863, a pivotal moment occurred in the history of football with the formation of the Football Association (FA) in England. The FA was established to create standardized rules for the game, enabling fair play and organization. A group of representatives from various clubs convened at the Freemasons Tavern in London, where they discussed the need for a common set of rules that would govern the game across all teams and regions. This meeting marked the beginning of the modern era of football. The FA's primary objective was to reconcile the differing rules adopted by various clubs. Some teams favored a more rugged version of the game, which allowed players to handle the ball, similar to rugby. Others preferred a version that emphasized kicking the ball and limited physical contact. The FA sought to promote a style of play that encouraged skill and teamwork, ultimately leading to the adoption of rules that favored kicking rather than carrying the ball. One of the most significant achievements of the FA was the establishment of the laws of the game. The initial rules, drafted in 1863, consisted of 13 articles that covered various aspects of play, including the size of the field, the number of players, and the basic principles governing the match. These rules laid the groundwork for the sport's structure and promoted a level of consistency that had previously been absent. Key elements of the laws of the game included defining the role of the referee, the concept of fouls, and the introduction of the offside rule. The offside rule was particularly controversial. It required players to be behind the last defender when the ball was played to them. This rule aimed to prevent goal hanging and encouraged tactical play, fostering a more dynamic and strategic approach to the game. As the FA established these standardized rules, the sport began to grow rapidly in popularity. Football clubs started to emerge across England, and regional competitions were formed. The first official competition, the FA Cup, was introduced in 1871, providing a platform for clubs to compete at a national level. The success of the FA Cup further cemented football's place in English culture and created a framework for organized competition. The influence of the FA extended beyond England. As British traders, sailors, and expatriates traveled around the world, they introduced football to various countries. The simplicity and accessibility of the game made it easy to adopt, leading to the establishment of clubs and associations in places like Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. The establishment of standardized rules facilitated the sport's expansion and contributed to its global appeal. By the late 19th century, football had begun to evolve into an international sport. The foundation laid by the FA's rules encouraged the formation of national football associations across Europe and beyond. In 1904, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association (FIFA) was established in Paris, further unifying the sport on an international scale. In summary, the formation of standardized rules through the establishment of the Football Association marked a turning point in the history of football. The FA's efforts to unify the game created a structure that allowed for organized play, competition, and international growth. This foundation laid the groundwork for football to evolve into the global phenomenon it is today, celebrated by millions around the world. The spread of football. As the standardized rules of football took hold in England, the sport began to spread rapidly beyond its borders. The mid to late 19th century was a transformative period for football, marked by its transition from a national pastime to a global phenomenon. Several factors contributed to this explosive growth, including the establishment of clubs, international matches, and the influence of British culture. The rise of football clubs played a crucial role in the sport's dissemination. As the Football Association (FA) created a more organized structure, numerous clubs began to form across England. These clubs provided a platform for local players to compete and fostered community engagement. Many clubs, such as Sheffield FC, considered the world's oldest football club, helped formalize the sport and promote it within their regions. In 1872, the first international match took place between Scotland and England, an event that highlighted football's growing appeal beyond local confines. This match, held in Glasgow, ended in a 0-0 draw but sparked significant interest and excitement among fans. The concept of international matches began to take root, laying the groundwork for future competitions and fostering a sense of national pride among players and supporters alike. As football gained traction in Britain, British expatriates and traders played a pivotal role in introducing the sport to other countries. British merchants traveling to South America, Africa, and Asia brought the game with them, often playing informal matches in their host countries. In Argentina, for instance, British railway workers established the first clubs, leading to the formation of the Argentine Football Association in 1893. The sport quickly captured the imagination of local populations, integrating itself into the cultural fabric of the nation. The late 19th century also saw the emergence of international competitions. In 1900, football was included in the Olympics for the first time, although it was not officially recognized as an Olympic sport until 1908. This inclusion helped showcase football on a global stage, drawing participation from various nations and increasing its visibility. Countries began to see the value of international competitions as a means of building national identity and pride. In Europe, football associations began to form, and the sport took root in various nations. The Netherlands, Italy, and Spain established their own leagues and associations in the following years. Each country adapted the rules to suit its local culture while still adhering to the FA's foundational guidelines. This adaptability played a vital role in football's growth, allowing it to flourish in diverse environments. By the early 20th century, football had become a well-organized and widely followed sport in many countries. The establishment of leagues and domestic competitions fostered local rivalries and increased fan engagement. Clubs began to attract significant support, leading to the development of passionate fan bases that would become synonymous with the sport. In 1904, the creation of the Fédération Internationale de Football Association (FIFA) further unified the sport internationally. FIFA aimed to promote and organize international competitions, establishing a framework for nations to compete on the world stage. This move marked a crucial step in solidifying football's status as a global sport, paving the way for future international tournaments. The spread of football also coincided with broader social changes. The late 19th and early 20th centuries were marked by industrialization, urbanization, and the rise of the working class. Football became an accessible form of entertainment, providing an outlet for communities and fostering social cohesion. The game's simplicity, requiring minimal equipment and space, made it easy for people of all backgrounds to participate. In summary, the spread of football in the late 19th and early 20th centuries transformed it from a localized pastime into a global sport. The establishment of clubs, the introduction of international matches, and the influence of British culture all played significant roles in this expansion. By creating a sense of community and national pride, football laid the groundwork for its enduring popularity worldwide. The birth of international competitions. The late 19th and early 20th centuries marked a significant turning point in the history of football, as the sport transitioned from local matches to organized international competitions. This evolution not only elevated the game's profile but also fostered a sense of unity and rivalry among nations, transforming football into a global spectacle. The concept of international competition in football began to take shape with the establishment of the Fédération Internationale de Football Association (FIFA) in 1904. Founded in Paris, FIFA aimed to standardize the rules of the game internationally and promote friendly relations among national associations. With countries increasingly eager to showcase their footballing talent, FIFA soon began organizing international tournaments, leading to the emergence of competitive play on a global scale. The first significant international tournament was the Olympic football event, which debuted in the 1900 Paris Games. Although initially overshadowed by other sports, Olympic football gradually gained recognition. The first official men's football tournament took place in 1908, and the competition saw teams from several nations competing, albeit with amateur players. The Olympics provided a platform for countries to display their talent, fostering a sense of pride and competition. However, it was the establishment of the FIFA World Cup that truly revolutionized international football. The idea for a global tournament emerged in the early 1920s, driven by the desire to create a premier competition that would elevate the sport. In 1928, at the FIFA Congress in Amsterdam, the decision was made to host the first World Cup in 1930. Uruguay was chosen as the host nation, coinciding with the country's centenary celebrations. The inaugural FIFA World Cup, held in 1930, featured 13 teams, 7 from South America, 4 from Europe, and 2 from North America. The tournament format was simple, a series of knockout rounds leading to the final match. The event captured the imagination of football fans, and Uruguay emerged victorious, defeating Argentina 4-2 in the final. This historic match not only solidified Uruguay's place in football history but also set the stage for what would become the world's most prestigious sporting event. The success of the first World Cup established a framework for future tournaments and fueled the global appetite for football. As the years progressed, the tournament expanded in scale and complexity, attracting more nations and professional players. The World Cup became a symbol of national pride, with countries investing in their football programs to compete on the world stage. By the time the Second World Cup was held in Italy in 1934, the tournament had already gained international prestige. The event was marked by the participation of 15 teams and the introduction of a knockout format. That included a qualification process. Italy emerged victorious, winning its first title and showcasing the power of football to unite a nation. The subsequent tournaments, held every 4 years with interruptions due to World War II, further solidified the World Cup's status as a global phenomenon. The event attracted millions of viewers and fans, creating a sense of anticipation and excitement that transcended national boundaries. Countries began to embrace football as an integral part of their identity, using the World Cup as a platform to showcase their culture and athletic prowess. The FIFA World Cup also played a crucial role in promoting football across continents. Nations from Africa, Asia, and the Americas began to emerge as competitive forces, reflecting the sport's growing diversity. The success of teams from outside Europe and South America, such as the triumph of North Korea in 1966 and Cameroon in 1990, highlighted the global reach of football. In summary, the birth of international competitions, particularly the FIFA World Cup, marked a transformative era in the history of football. The establishment of FIFA and the Olympic tournaments laid the groundwork for a global stage where nations could compete and unite through their shared passion for the game. The World Cup, in particular, became a symbol of national pride and a celebration of football's universal appeal, paving the way for its status as the world's most popular sport.